welcome viewers. Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, fresh in from training and motorcycle riding. We've been for a ride up through the mountains, had a look at some of the bushfire areas. Not real good, but we're alive. We're going to look at the Jehovah Witnesses working together. Now, this is a real strange subject because some Jehovah's Witnesses work really well together. Other Jehovah Witnesses, as you look at this fella's face, don't go too good. We've got a beautiful picture of good friends work together in the ministry, which is very, very manipulative, isn't it? But I'll just keep this playing on the side while I do about a 5-minute introduction before we go into videos on working together as Jehovah Witnesses, and we'll get some Jehovah Witnesses that have actually done it to share with us. According to Proverbs 27:17, what can result when we work alongside fellow believers, as it happened in the case of Jeremiah and Baruch? Remember, Jeremiah didn't have the guts to deliver the letters himself, so he sent his scroll to deliver the letters. And when we work alongside fellow believers and observe firsthand their endearing qualities, what about endearing qualities is one thing. What about the things you don't like? That's another, isn't it? And that's the thing that's bringing the Jehovah Witnesses undone. The backbiting, the slighting of the other, the undermining, the whinging, the whining, the talking about people behind their backs, even though you can try and make it look good and sound good. And we learn from them to draw closer to them. Some people are going to draw closer, some people are going to fall apart, and that's just the way it is. Proverbs 17:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens his friend. In some cases, yes. In other cases, there's just people that it wouldn't matter if you took to them with a millstone and tried to sharpen them up. It wouldn't make any difference. For example, how do you feel when you're in the ministry and you hear your friend boldly defend his faith or speak with heartfelt conviction about Jehovah and his purposes? Well, that don't happen anymore. You just don't see that with the Jehovah Witnesses anymore. They just don't do it. They run off. Look, this lady's saying, I don't want to talk to you. I've got nothing I have to say to you. And it goes on and on and on. But what I'll do, we'll read this next one. I'm going to put some videos up about Jehovah's Witnesses working together. And then we're going to look, for example, how do you feel when you hear your friend boldly defend his faith or speak the heartfelt conviction about Jehovah and his purposes? I haven't heard or seen one Jehovah Witness at a cart do that whatsoever. Not one. Not one in the slightest. So I'll hand you over. We'll look at some videos and then we'll go from there. Thank you for joining me. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Reaching Out channel. I just wanted to share with you a couple of funny experiences I had when I was a convention volunteer. I really wanted to get involved, but most of the volunteer jobs were for men only. So I jumped at the chance of being a volunteer, and I was drafted in specifically because of my gender. It was in the early to mid 2000s when they brought in credit and debit card donation points, and the brother responsible for it happened to be in our congregation. So he went round recruiting volunteers on the basis that women would know how to operate a credit card machine, which was quite funny. So there I was. I said, well, I've never used one in my employment, but I've certainly spent lots of money on my credit and debit card, so I'm sure I'll figure it out. How hard can it be? So there I was, drafted in. And it became pretty clear that there were going to be jobs for the girls and jobs for the boys. When we arrived there, myself and the other two sisters were given our tables to sit at with our credit and debit card machines, and there on the other side of the room was the laptop which connected all the machines together and kept a tally of the takings as they were coming in. But none of us girls were allowed anywhere near this machine, because obviously did we know about operating a computer? Let me think. Well, I've worked for years on a computer. I'm actually a computer programmer by trade. I have done all sorts computer wise, so I was probably the most qualified person there to operate a PC, but that was never going to happen. What they did instead was they brought in a 14-year-old boy to come in and operate the laptop, and just made us all feel that we were totally being put in our place as, this is your job, don't go anywhere near the computer. Okay then. Fast forward to, that was the first year, then I was brought in to do it the next year, so fast forward on a year, and we were having technical difficulties on one of the sessions with the machines. For some reason they just wouldn't work. It was really, really odd. Everyone was puzzling what was the problem. We were putting in the card number, we were putting in the name of the person off the card, the amount, but every time it just went not working. So anyway, I had a brainwave of, I just happened to ask the brother who was giving me his credit card details, could you give me your full name and I'll punch that into the machine and see if your full name works rather than the abbreviated version that was on your card. And it worked amazingly. To our astonishment, it worked. So I told the other two sisters, right, everyone, this is what you need to do. For some reason, the card machines are being fussy. So ask the person their full name and put in the full name. And sure enough, on the two other machines, it worked as well. Well, there were two credit and debit card points, one for the West Stand and one for the East Stand. That particular time I was in the East Stand, and lo and behold, it got to our attention that the West Stand were having technical difficulties. So I said to one of the brothers in charge, can you radio over to the West Stand and just tell them, ask the donor to give them their full name and see if that works. Off he went. Comes back. So did you radio? Did you tell them? No response. So I was like, what's going on here? What's going on here? This goes on for a bit longer. In the meantime, we are getting absolutely swamped with people coming for the credit and debit cards. So I said, because it was taking a lot longer to process each person, so we were getting a backlog. So I said, can you please, brother, can you just tell the other stand how to fix the problem? And he just wouldn't do it, and I was getting more and more frustrated, and in the end I just thought, well, what can I do? Can I wrestle the walkie-talkie out of this brother's hand and just tell them, please, just tell them? And it just dawned on me, it's because I'd worked it out. If the brothers had worked out how to fix it, then they probably would have told them, but it was because it was little old me getting above my station. Can't possibly tell them that a dumb old sisters worked out how to get the machines working again. And so it continued. So we went for the, so that was the lunchtime session. So we went round for the post, the end of the day session to do the credit and debit cards. Sat down and we were absolutely inundated with people with their credit and debit cards. Why was that? It was because the West Stand had been shut down due to technical difficulties. I was just, what can you do? What can you do? I've told them the answer. I've told them how to fix it, but they just weren't interested. So that was a real wake-up call of, yeah, do I feel like a second-class citizen as a female? Yes, I most certainly do. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you later.